I want to tell you a story about two brothers, Charlie and Coty. They are always getting into trouble. Well, one day at breakfast, they were talking about what they were going to do that day, and Mom said, "Wait a minute, boys. You are going to go up in your room and make your beds, clean it up. You have a mess in there." Oh, the boys sighed. "Mom, do we have to? We've got important things to do outside." Mom said, "March yourselves upstairs and get that room straight before you go anywhere." All right. So they went upstairs and they quickly threw the bedspread up over the pillow. Didn't really make it. They picked up most of the toys and then they scooted outside, yelling, "We're outside, Mom." Well, their favorite thing to do was to go up in the hills of the mountains where they lived. There were so many things to explore up there. They would see raccoon nests, they would see chipmunks, they would see all kinds of things up there. They were waiting till the day they saw a bear. Well, after they had been up there a while, they were getting bored. You know, we go in these woods all the time. There's got to be something more exciting we can do than this. Just then, Mom called lunch. "Okay, boys, time to come in and eat lunch." So the boys went inside, and they were sitting there talking about what they could do in the afternoon. And Mom said, "Boys, before you go back outside, you better go check that room. I still see toys out." Oh, okay. After lunch, the boys went out and finished picking up the toys. Then they ran downstairs and they said, "Mom, can we go over to Brian's house?" Mom said, "Did you clean that room?" Boy says, "Yes, ma'am, we did." "All right, but you be back here by dinner time." "Yes, ma'am." And they ran out the door, slamming the screen door behind them. When they got down to Brian's house, they knocked on the door, but nobody answered. Aw. Coty said, "Let's go in the woods behind Brian's house and see what kind of adventures we can find there." Well, Charlie said, "Okay, but we're not going to go too far. We've not been in these woods before." "Oh, that's okay." So they walked back in those woods, and they saw a lot of the same things that they saw in their woods, but there were some neat things. There was a hole. Now, Coty is the one who found this hole. Charlie was saying, "Let's go back now." Coty said, no, let's go a little bit further." Charlie said, "No, we've got to go back now." All right, but just as he turned around, that's when he saw it. Coty screamed, "Look!" Well, that scared Charlie. What? He says, "Look up the path. There is a big black circle." It was the size of a dining room table. "Oh, we've got to check this out." All right. So they walked further up the path till they came to this great big hole. It was big enough for both of those boys to crawl inside, which is exactly what Coty started to do. And Charlie said, "Wait a minute. There could be a bear in there." "Oh," Coty said, "there's no bears up here. We've never seen one, and we've lived here 5 years. Charlie said, "I don't know about this." "Oh, come on." "Well, we'll crawl a little bit in there, but Coty, we are not going very far." So Coty agreed, and they started crawling. Well, the further in they got, the darker it got. So once it got to the point that they could not even see their hand in front of their face, Charlie said, "That's it. We are going back." "All right, but tomorrow I want to come back and investigate further," Coty said. "Come on, let's get out of here before Mom worries about us." So they crawl out of the hole and they start heading toward home. Just then, you guessed it, Mom starts calling, "Okay, boys, it's time for dinner." So the boys rush into the kitchen, says, "We're here, Mom." Mom turns around and says, "Oh, what in the world has happened to you boys? You are covered from head to toe in dirt." They both looked at each other and they thought, "We're not telling. We've just been playing in the woods." "Well, you go outside, brush yourselves off, and go upstairs and get your shower before dinner." Okay, so they went outside and brushed off, took their shower, and came down to dinner. At dinner time, they did not mention the hole they had found in Brian's woods. So that night, they talked about their plan. What are we going to do? Charlie says, I don't think we should go back in there, at least until an adult checks it out. But Coty was the little brother, and he said, oh, come on, we'll go just a little bit further. And guess what we can do? We can take our flashlights. Then we can see everywhere, just like this one. Charlie said, well, if we're going to take flashlights and go that far in the hole, then we are going to also take a rope. And I'm tying it around your waist so I don't lose you in the dark. Okay, Coty agreed. They went to sleep. The next morning at breakfast, they could hardly eat breakfast. They were so excited. Mom said, is your room still clean? Oh, yes, ma'am. We didn't play in our room at all yesterday. Did you make your beds? The boys remembered to pull the sheets and the bedspread up over their bed and the pillow because they knew Mom would say something. Oh, yes, ma'am. We're going over to Brian's house again. Will you be home by lunchtime? Yes, ma'am. So they went over there and they took with them their flashlight, and they also took a rope because they wanted to be sure they could see where they were going, and just in case something happens, one of them could get pulled out. So that's what they did. Well, once they rushed down that path, and once they got to the hole again, Coty says, I'm first, and before he could even blink an eye, Coty was in that hole and crawling way, way inside. Charlie said, wait a minute, I've got to tie this rope around your waist. It's not safe without that. So Coty stopped, waited for the rope to come, and Charlie tied it on him, and they kept crawling. Finally, it got dark enough they had to turn their flashlights on. So they had their flashlights on, and they had the rope tied around. They felt like they were safe. So they crawled and crawled. Well, the hole started getting a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. Finally, Charlie said, Coty, I think we better go back. Oh, Coty said, no, I don't want to. He says, come on, we've got to go back. It's not safe. So he said, well, I'm going to crawl just a tiny bit further. And just as he did, you heard this crackling sound. And when that crackling sound started, you heard Coty's voice go, ah! And it got so soft you could hardly hear it. Charlie screamed, Coty! What happened? Nothing. So Charlie crawled a little bit closer and a little bit closer till he could see there was a big hole. And at the bottom of that hole lay Coty. Coty yelled, I'm down here. And Charlie could tell he was crying. Are you all right? I think I broke my foot. I'll run and get help. You stay still. So Charlie quickly scooted out of that hole all the way to the end, ran down the path, screaming, Mom, Mom, come help. Mom came to the door because she heard Charlie calling, and he said, Coty has gotten in trouble. I mean, Mom, this is real trouble, not just regular trouble. You need to come help. Well, what happened? There was a hole, and we crawled in it, and then there was a bigger hole, and he fell in it, and I can't get him out. Mom said, it sounds like we better call the fire department. So Mom called the fire department, and here comes the fire truck, here comes a police car, and here comes the ambulance, because usually they all come together. That caught the eye of the neighbors. Slowly but surely, here come all the neighbors. They were curious. What in the world has happened? Is somebody sick? Did somebody die? What happened? The fireman came over to Charlie and said, Charlie, what happened? Well, we were crawling in this hole, and all of a sudden, Coty disappeared. He fell down into a great big hole, and I think it's a cavern. There's all kinds of things down there. The fireman said, don't you worry. We'll go save him. So they took their ropes and their flashlights, and they crawled in there. And sure enough, they found Coty. He was at the bottom of this beautiful cavern. It was the size of their living room. It was gorgeous in there. The light from the flashlight made all the stalactites kind of glitter and glow. Well, the fireman yelled down to Coty, "Are you all right, son?" He said, "I think I broke my foot. I can't move it." The fireman said, "Don't you worry. We will come and we'll get you. We're going to send something down that you can get on. Hold on." So the fireman crawled back out. They got the little bed that you can send down into holes that people can't get into. They sent the bed down. They sent one of the firemen down there to help Coty get on this bed. They strapped him on it, and all the firemen pulled on the rope and brought him back up. The rescue squad men looked at it and he says, "Yep, I think it's broken." And they took him to the hospital. Of course, Mom went with him. Charlie stayed with a neighbor until it was all over. At dinner that night, there was so much excitement at the table. Everybody was talking about what happened. Coty even showed Dad the cast on his foot. Dad said, "You boys are always getting into trouble. You need to make sure that the things that you are exploring are safe for you. That was something an adult should have been there for." Well, the boys realized that then, and they decided that they would be sure and take an adult with them if anything like that ever happened again. Well, that's the end of the story now, but Coty and Charlie never stopped getting in trouble.